So this is an XC90. I've been having problems with the heater. The fan has a mind of its own, and so what I've decided to do is buy a second-hand heater control unit, which is here. You can see that it's not as tidy as my existing, so I'm going to take the insides out of this and put them in mine, and hopefully that'll fix the issue. So the first thing we need to do is lift this panel. We do that by putting the key in ignition and moving the gear selector into drive. So now we can prise up this. There we go. And we can move it out because we put it into drive. When we look underneath here, you can see these little grey tabs. They need to be pushed back. Move out your finger, and then same on the other side. There we go. We can just take that away. So the easiest way I've found to take this section out is to take out the bottom two screws, which are T25 screws. I've done that now, so hopefully we'll be able to ease this out and just take it down. Let's have a look at that. There you go. And as you can see, we've opened up the gap here, so I can move that out and away. So behind the unit we've lifted out, we have this green connector here, needs to come off. A white connector here which goes to your 12 volt for your cigarette lighter. We have a screw here, needs to undo, and here, and the same on the other side. Once you've done that, you can see these little clips, and they'll pop in on both sides and will release the radio section of the unit. Just so you're aware, this green connector got a little push down pin, and that releases it so you can slide it out. This one just seems to slide out. So I've taken out the two screws that were here, and as you can see, before I did that I removed the green connector, goes into the heater, and also my white connector which goes to my 12 volt cigarette lighter. The reason being is that I can move this quite easily then to get to both sides of the screws. Now they're both out now, and what I can do is push down on these clips. There you go. And if you see that there, I can rotate it. There you go. So my radio is loose there. Right, good. So now I've got my T25s that hold the heater onto this main panel to undo. So I'll undo those, and we're able to free the heater from this main cluster. So those screws are out. This is separated. We should hopefully. There you go. And there you go. They just sort of clip in together there. There. If you see at the top of here, these two just clip together. That's why I find it easier to take the whole section out. So I've got my replacement heater control unit, which I've bought from a scrapyard, so I don't really know that it works properly. So what I'm going to do is plug it in before I even bother putting it in, just to check it's working. So if I take the insides out and put it in mine, I know it'll be okay. So let's look at that. Push that in. Okay, you might have seen those green lights pop up there. Good. And we can adjust the, okay, see that? We can adjust, yeah, so our heater's working fine. So I've taken all these screws off. There's 9 screws to come out, even the ones that are on this little fan. And then we're going to try and lever the back panel off. So you've got the front panel, we're going to try and lever the back panel off. So let's get that in there. Maybe get another lever on this section. I have to change that to a plastic one. Let's see. There you go. We don't need it. There we go. And just a little bit of this one. There you go. I think that's all ready. So that one's almost ready to go. Try not to let it slip back on while you're getting the other bits on. There we go. Excellent. So we've got that out. And then we just simply, very carefully, work yourself around. Take that out first, so it doesn't fall. So just very carefully. There it goes. There it is. Just gentle. There you go. We've got that out. We can change this little section which always gets muck in it. And a little sensor, I think. We take that out. Oh no, we don't actually take it out. We change the whole thing. So you get, take that one away. So then for the one going back in, it's worth this little sensor just very lightly into location. Once there's a little groove that goes in, and also making sure your dials haven't turned. See, nearly there. I'm just going to put it on the side because I can see a bit more. There you go. So once your circuit board's back in, you'll make sure you put your connection housing back in. So just very carefully match up where it goes. There you go. Alright. So it just clips in to these little sections here. Another one on this side. Okay, so that looks like that. Get this home. All about that. Also, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention you need to put your fan back in. So let's just see if you can see that. Yep, so let's just push that back in there. Home. Yeah, good. And then we put the screws back in there as well. So let's start putting it all back together. Ease this forward a bit, just clip yourself back in. There you go. There you go. That looks pretty good. Mine's nice. Our screws are back in the right place. So we'll put these screws back in, these top two. Alright. And then we'll spin it round and we'll put our screws in the back of the radio panel. We've clipped back in here. So I'll just get this screw in going in this. I find it's good practice to start all the screws off before you do the final tighten. Just makes it all sit nicely. There you go. So we'll just nip those up a little bit. So we'll put this green cable back in here, and if you see there's a little bit of plastic sticking up to tell you which way round it goes. So the pin you push in goes to the top. Let's just see. There we go. So that's all good. Yeah, so you've got to hold it kind of quite close to where it's going back in. You can see I've put that back in here. Alright, so now we're going to lift it up, set it in the hole, and then just top end in first, and then the bottom in. We can put our fixings in. So you see our line at the top now, our top's just sitting about right, and so we'll push up into the section and in. There we go. And now we can see that our screws are ready to be going in. Got a bit of light on there so you can see a bit better. There you go, so our screw holes are ready to go back in location. Excellent, so we've screwed these back in, everything's tight. We need to put this back into drive, lift this silver section up, and then get our fake wood effect panel, slide it over the top. Once it's all in line, just click it in. As easy as that. Front section goes in first. Just set that down in there. Nice and neat. Okay. And that's just clipped in. As simple as that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it beneficial.